The system didn't accidentally create a world full of suffering. It engineered one where pain becomes identity, endurance becomes virtue, and breaking down becomes proof of depth. What you've been taught to spiritualize, to wear as a badge of honor, to pass down to your children, gets sold as ancient wisdom. But it looks more like programming designed to keep you compliant. It's important to distinguish. Pain is a physiological and psychological signal about violation. Suffering is turning pain into identity. The system doesn't just allow pain, it teaches you to cherish it, nurture it, name yourself after it, and pass it down through generations. The signal becomes code, code becomes meaning, meaning becomes culture. That's how a bug becomes the norm. The system needs suffering hosts for a simple reason. Pain makes you permeable. Someone suffering absorbs rather than repels. Someone suffering seeks meaning, so they're ready to let in any narratives, therapeutic, spiritual, motivational. Suffering is the infection interface. Through it, foreign values, foreign morality, foreign guilt get implanted. Pain keeps you open like an unhealed wound through which the system pumps its logic. Who benefits from this? Those who trade in solutions. Churches that sell salvation, therapists who sell healing, coaches who sell transformation. The state that sells stability, employers who buy compliance, marketers who sell you products to fix the emptiness they helped create, narcissists who can abuse their victims for decades, while the victims keep looking for the problem within themselves. They all parasitize on one principle. First, convince you that you're broken, then sell you a way to fix it. But the fixing never ends, because then the business would end. But the parasite works even more subtly. It convinces you that pain is just part of life. The world is cruel, people are complicated, love is suffering, work is burnout. This creates an infection background where everything already hurts, but nobody is surprised. You don't perceive pain as a bug because everyone around you lives in pain. And if you're not suffering, it means you didn't understand something, didn't feel deeply enough, or didn't deserve it. Your lightness seems suspicious. Your joy seems infantile. This is why the system normalizes suffering. Living in it without pain is impossible. So it's easier to recognize it as a meaning than to recognize the absurdity. The system doesn't hide pain, it makes it the standard. And anyone who isn't in pain is an outsider, heresy, a glitch. The main deception is built into culture as an axiom. Pain supposedly leads to purification, growth, awakening. Through the fire of suffering, you become better, wiser, stronger. Complete bullshit. If suffering purifies, why do millions of broken people who've been through hell still live in fear, guilt, and slavery? Because suffering doesn't liberate, it programs. Every blow to the psyche leaves code. You deserve pain, the world is dangerous, you can't trust. If any purification happens, it's despite suffering, not because of it. Crisis can force changes, but deprogramming happens through analysis, conclusions, and actions, not through the mere fact of pain. Neurophysiologically, chronic suffering reduces neuroplasticity. Fear, anxiety, shame worsen the ability to learn and adapt. This isn't a path to growth. It's a path to a dead end. Pain doesn't make you stronger, it makes you weaker. And it's in this weakness that the system gains power over you. Trauma creates predictable reactions that are easy to manipulate. The system knows if you start seeing suffering as absurd, control will collapse. So it implants a defense mechanism. It makes you love your pain. You're taught to be proud of wounds, to build identity from trauma, to consider scars decorations. I survived sounds cooler than I escaped. I fought is more honorable than I avoided the fight. It's like a virus that implants the thoughts, I am my disease, so you won't try to cure it. You start protecting your suffering from encroachment, because without it, who are you? An ordinary happy person? How banal. Women are coded especially cynically. From childhood, they're told, suffering is proof of love, sacrifice is the norm, patient ones are good, loud ones are hysterical. A real woman understands and forgives everything. Motherhood requires sacrifices. In relationships, you need to meet halfway. A smart wife will find an approach to her husband. Translation: be a container for other people's pain and be proud of it. Girls are taught to read other people's emotions as more important than their own. Their needs are always secondary. Their boundaries are always up for discussion. Their anger is always inappropriate. The result? Generations of women who don't know how to say no because it's selfish, who tolerate violence because you have to preserve the family, who dissolve into other people because that's how they were taught to love. A woman becomes the ideal virus carrier. She passes it to children, partners, friends, without even suspecting it. Her compassion often means not help in eliminating pain, but simple empathy with it, which only encourages the cult instead of destroying it. Complicity disguised as care. The system's most insidious trick is giving you an exit that's still inside the same cage. You overcome suffering within the same paradigm. Went through therapy, worked through traumas, found meaning in pain. Now you're healed, and you become an agent of the system. I went through hell and survived, so you can too. Pain was my teacher. Depression taught me to value life. Divorce made me stronger. I was beaten as a child, and nothing I grew up to be a person. You think you got out, but you just changed roles. Now you're a preacher of the suffering cult. Polite, wise, experienced. You're selling the same narrative, just packaged in a success story. Struggle is the same cult of suffering, just with a different facade. It still keeps you in a state of conflict, hostility, and tension. You're not living, you're fighting for territory. And it's precisely in this state that you're perfectly controlled. Your focus is narrowed, your resources are spent, your freedom is an illusion. Healing within the system is just a new stage of infection. You stopped being a victim but became a spreader. The brilliance of the system is that it makes carriers program themselves. Parents who grew up in the cult of pain pass it down to children. Teachers replicate it. Therapists monetize it. Coaches package it as motivation. Everyone thinks they're helping. Everyone sincerely believes they're preparing for real life. Nobody sees that they're just reproducing the parasitic program. One of the most toxic narratives. Suffering makes us human. Supposedly only humans are capable of real pain, existential anguish, conscious torment. Animals just exist while we suffer, and that's our specialty. What nonsense! The ability to suffer doesn't make you more human. It makes you more controllable. Animals also feel pain, but they don't build philosophy from it. They don't romanticize their wounds. They just heal or die. Humanity is in the capacity for creativity, love, play, laughter, in the ability to create beauty, solve problems, build connections. Suffering is what interferes with all of the above. The system's deepest lie is ontological. Pain is presented as a guarantee of authenticity. Suffering is considered deeper than joy, as if the more it hurts, the closer you are to the essence. Hence the false hierarchy of reality. Suffering is considered authentic, joy is superficial, lightness is infantile, peace is primitive. But cause and effect are reversed here. Any living person in this system will suffer, but only because they sit in a cage bound hand and foot by systemic narratives. Because they can still feel that something is wrong but can't name it. The system reversed the logic. Instead of you suffer because the system breaks you, it convinced you you suffer because you're deep. Complete nonsense. Depth isn't the weight of pain. Depth is clarity, awareness, freedom from external code. Suffering isn't a mirror of reality. It's a perception bug provoked by an infected system. It's noise, not signal. Pain is simply information about boundary violation, not a sacred revelation about the nature of being. Joy isn't an escape from reality, but a form of undisturbed resonance. When you're in harmony with yourself, you see clearer, feel more precisely, think more freely. Pain clouds perception, makes you cling to illusions of meaning where there isn't any. Breaking doesn't make you real, it makes you predictable, and therefore controllable. The problem is that partial exits don't exist. You can't stop suffering in relationships while continuing to suffer at work. You can't recover from one part of the virus. The way out begins with recognition. Your suffering doesn't save anyone. Your sacrifice doesn't build anything. Your pain doesn't make you better or closer to the truth. It only feeds the system that created the conditions for this pain. But the system isn't only in you. It's in language, in memes, in songs, in the rhetoric of you must. So liberation isn't only an internal gesture. It's refusing to participate in infected culture, refusing to be a carrier, even a polite one. The real heresy is refusing to play this game. Stop looking for meaning in absurdity. Stop romanticizing your collapse. It's time to stop putting suffering above joy. In a world built on the cult of pain, the simple refusal of suffering is an act of revolution.